Alright guys, I guess I'm back. I've got an appointment in about an hour. I did the therapy appointment. Wanted to talk a little bit about it. As far as like anything gender or LGBT related that may have come up. There wasn't really a lot of stuff, but first I gotta look up where I'm going. I got some driving I gotta do. I'm gonna see if I can pick up any deliveries, and if not, I'll just do some podcasting for like an hour. Just want to get out some. So let's see. I need to figure out where the apartments are that I'm going. I got an apartment to view today. That's 11 minutes away. But I hope you guys are having a good day. Good Thursday. Alright, now I know where this is. Alright, and then yeah, good Thursday, and I'm just kind of trying to do my own thing. I'm a little tired. But that's alright. And then see, I'm gonna go drive past this place that I know I need to be, and then I'll start trying to do Uber Eats from over there. So let me see. Alright, so let me talk a little bit about this experience. So they were really kind. Everybody was really nice. I didn't have any like issues as far as like logistics of situations and whatnot. Like it went smoothly. I feel like at least the therapist is kind of from generally the area I'm from, so I think they kind of know the area pretty good. I don't know their age. They seem older than me. I don't know, I feel like a lot of times people look older than me. She appears to me to be a Caucasian lady. The reason why I say maybe she's a little older than me was kind of because of how she was dressed. She kind of had like an old lady clothing kind of style, if that makes sense. Like, you know, those kind of slacks that are kind of like not fitted, and kind of like a blouse that was kind of like pretty general. Not in a mean way, not in a bad way. Like, she seemed like a cool person, like helpful, nice. I like talking to her, and seemed to understand a lot. I'm not sure if I was talking a lot or too much because I was caffeinated. So I did kind of notice I was talking a lot, and I did notice, you know, I was a little fatigued, a little bit. I started noticing, like, the dates. Like, some areas I needed to put my date of birth, and other areas I needed to put the date. And there were a couple that I kind of screwed up, kind of on my own. And then, I don't think I caught any of the other ones. If there were other mistakes, but I think that I caught some of the mistakes, and I'm kind of gonna guess that there were maybe other mistakes that didn't get caught. And so just because I kept putting the wrong dates between my date of birth and today's date, but that wasn't like a major issue. But it's just, you know, sometimes signature pages, They need today's date. But yeah, I think they would have caught that. So there was nothing like that they caught. But I did kind of notice that. And then like with my writing, it was kind of harder to write by hand. Like it was easier to think and write, but it was harder to kind of write by hand. They definitely brought some things to my attention. I'm definitely underperforming, but I'm definitely capable of very high performance. I just feel like I honestly do feel like I don't know if I can, I don't know, I worry about being able to kind of manage myself, like my own balance in my own life at the same time as managing a job that's high demand, high stress kind of work. That's kind of my biggest worry in trying to pick a profession that's like super intensive. But a lot of the super intensive professions pay better. So she's saying like maybe I should go back into research or something with my degree. And I'm kind of like, I don't know, like I was kind of going in this other direction outside of my degree. But she kind of did bring that up. And even though I mentioned that, you know, I'm going into this other field, she's kind of like, you should, she didn't say you should, but she was kind of like, you already have this degree and you already have all this experience and you already have like, I'm not saying like go back into case management work, but just like the research side of stuff. And, you know, I don't know if that's a turn off to me. I think in general for me, it's, I wouldn't call it a turn off. It's just, I was trying to go in that direction and things didn't work out smoothly at first. And so coming back and trying to go back through that again, I don't know. Maybe there's some anxiety surrounding that, but I also really just don't know. And as far as like, you know, I really just do need a job that's going to pay really good. I have a friend who has worked at some pretty good sites out through UNC, University of North Carolina. They're pretty heavy on research out there. But I'm also in LA, so it's not like there's no research jobs out here. But I might consider like something remote. If they have something remote, I'll look into it. I'm trying to do better at listening to people and what they think. Not that I don't think I know what I'm doing, or not that I don't trust my own opinions, but just trying to work on my own things. So yeah, the intake form didn't really have a whole lot of details as far as like what to do. It was kind of like, you know, as far as like gender and stuff, the intake form didn't really talk a lot about gender. I think they said male, female, trans. I want to say there was a prefer not to answer or something like that. I don't know if there's any other thing. For sexualities, it was just heterosexual, bisexual, lesbian, gay, questioning. I don't think it had any more about that. With like relationships and that kind of stuff, it was kind of vague. I wasn't too sure too much about relationships. A lot of it was pretty heteronormative though. They didn't have any questions about trauma, I don't think. They asked about anxiety and panic attacks, but I was surprised they didn't have like any kind of trauma screening. And then, yeah, for anxiety, it was pretty general. They kind of screened for like generalized anxiety and for like I think it was generalized anxiety, and I don't know, like there were some questions, I don't know, because she knows now that I'm coming from a psych background. I kind of wondered if some of her questions were for herself, like to kind of know what it was like for me working in that side of the field. And you know, she kind of asked me what it was like, the insurance branch I was working for, and I kind of noticed she kind of wrote down the insurance branch and wrote down, you know, the company I worked for, and like, because I'm like thinking like, is she looking for work or trying to talk to other, you know, co-workers about work, or friends or colleagues or something about like job opportunities out there and stuff. So I was trying to like explain, you know, a little bit about it, but it was hard for me to tell if I was talking too much. Like I said, I was definitely caffeinated with the C4 and it makes me really chatty, but I was kind of on the lower end of things. What is going on? Like, I don't know how many, like, this is the second set of sirens I've seen, and before I left the house there were like 2 or 3 sets of sirens, so I don't really know. I don't know if these are separate incidents or the same ones. Like, I feel like if it's the same incident, they would call them at the same time, right? Like, I don't know why there's so many. I don't know, whatever. I hope they're okay though, but yeah, they didn't really. Yeah, that was kind of one of the things that I was kind of like wondering, like, why is that important? Like, because I mentioned something about the system, and she wanted me to kind of expand on like talking about the system, and I was like, how come it's not helpful for like certain people in San Diego, or like the, you know, underserved populations and stuff. And that seemed to be information that she found valuable for some reason or another, which I don't know, to me that was just a little odd, but it's also cool. Like, I'm like, okay, like, I felt like she listened good. She was pretty positive about things that she had to say about what she gathered about me. So that was nice. I didn't find her to be like condescending or anything. And she seemed like she listened. She thinks I look young. I get that a lot. And for this week, dude, here comes another one. I mean, they're coming from all these different directions, which is what's so confusing. Here comes some more sirens. Dude, I'm driving right now, you guys, and there's just like, goodness, I hope whatever's going on is okay. Like, it's like this a lot, which is weird. Like, this is not an abnormal thing, unfortunately. I've noticed that some days, you know, there's just a lot of sirens certain times of the day, and I don't, like, the other day there was a shooting on the freeway, and that's when I saw about this many sirens, and I was at home on that day. And this day I'm driving away from my house, and I am seeing, this is the third emergency vehicle I've seen, but probably the 4th or 5th one I've heard within the last like 20 minutes. So I don't know. And they're so spread out too, like, that I wonder like what's going on. just a little bit suspicious. But anyways, yeah, I feel like the experience was positive. Alright, I found the place I need to be. Just need to find... Okay. That's where I'm gonna go in. Alright, so I'll probably park over here. Alright, this area has crappy parking. That's why I was like, let me go and see what it's like before. Because I don't need to be over here for like an hour, but I'm gonna get back over here pretty early. So I'm just gonna post up, I guess right here in this shade area, and just wait for orders to come in, I guess. Yeah. I'll see if I get any orders. If I don't, I don't. I'm kind of tired today to really care too much. But let's see. Yeah, we'll see, I guess, what happens. But yeah, there weren't a lot of questions about LGBT stuff. She kind of just wanted to talk. We talked more about work and like kind of what my goals are. Basically, I want to be able to be functional while I'm working, because I'm going to be going into a new job type of field, or a new job in general, and I want to be able to function well and not feel like I'm at a point where I push so hard that I just kind of am at risk, either at risk of losing the job or at risk of doing well at the job. So that's kind of what my goal is. But yeah, I feel like that's the main goal with how I want therapy to go. She seems like she's going to be nice to talk to. I don't think I'm going to have any real complaints there or any issues with her whatsoever. Right now I'm parked at a spot that if I don't get any orders, I think I can stay parked here. But I got about 40... I don't know if I'm going to take orders, actually. Because I've got to be there in like 40 minutes. I don't know if I can do an order in 40 minutes. And then come back and find parking. I don't know, that might be risking it. If I don't get an order like within the next 5 minutes, we'll see. Because that's cutting it close, in all honesty. Like one order might take longer than 30 minutes. So I might go offline with that, actually, because I only really have 40 minutes. I'm supposed to be viewing this apartment at 4:30, and it's 3:49 p.m. right now. So yeah, after I met with her, it felt fine. Like, some of the questions were about relationships. I didn't find the screening questions about relationships to be too inclusive. But I don't know, like, there was a lot of space in the back for people to write, you know, if there's anything that they need to know about you. And I was like, yeah, queer person of color, kind of like, just trying to kind of get things back on track, basically. And just kind of my current situation, living with the family. And I try to be honest. I'm like, I'm not trying to be negative. I'm like, it's all right. Like, nobody's being like regularly, actively a jerk, but it's like, you know, there are occasions where I have to put up with certain people that I would not have to put up with either as much or for as long as I have to put up with them, since it's not my house. Again, I can't like entertain. I can't really have guests. I can't really have my friends over because it's not my house and my family doesn't really want that. So it's just little stuff like that where it's like, is it a big deal? No. But because I don't really have like a direct exit strategy, you know, I would say it is a little stressful. But that's kind of all it really is right now. It's just like a little bit stressful. So it's like some days are better than others. But she was basically saying next week we're going to work on next week we're going to work on you know, we're going to talk about more about my family background and upbringing and stuff. And I was just like, oh geez, like that's a lot. And the first thing that came to my mind was like, okay, that's anxiety provoking. And then the second thing is like, I wonder how during this week, because I guess my next appointment is next week, I'm wondering how during this week it's gonna be. I wonder how during this week how it's gonna be. And yeah, I told her about the school I went to, the Adventist school, the Adventist church. She actually knows where the church is that I went to. And yeah, I don't know, like, I'm literally right now, like, because our church used to rent out other buildings, I'm literally right now parked at a diagonal corner from the place where I used to go to church. Our church used to rent out from a Sunday church, so there was no conflict of days that they needed to have services, because we never had services on Sundays and they never had services on Saturdays. And so we always used the church on Saturdays, and sometimes there was some overlap on like Friday nights, but yeah, we always used the church on Saturdays. And yeah, so yeah, that was mostly it. I just kind of like was just kind of wanting to talk about my experience. I feel like the questions they asked are kind of like, here's the questions. They didn't really, we talked more about like work kind of stuff. And I think it's because it's like, okay, maybe it's something we can kind of have some even ground on with some understanding. And also maybe because it's something that, you know, something that we both understand, that we have some even ground on. But I don't know. Yeah, she was kind of mentioning too that like sometimes the work, you know, that I was doing, because she has family members who were in case management, and she's like, I don't know how that job seems like it would be very fulfilling. And I'm kind of like, yeah, like it's mostly just the issues with the system that make it so it's not fulfilling. Like, helping people is fun, and like just the whole process of trying to get people help. That not that I like people having to have help, but just, you know what I mean? It's like just helping people, being able to help people is nice. But I don't really know. But yeah, I don't think I have like way too much more to say. It was a good first session. We're meeting next week, same time. I don't know if it's an ideal time for me, but she was kind of good at kind of like wrapping up the session on time, and we ended exactly at the hour. The paperwork did take me a little more than 30 minutes to kind of finish. It was like supposed to take 30 minutes or something, because they told me to get there at 11:30 for the noon appointment, but it took me way longer. It took me maybe like 45 minutes or something. So I don't know, but yeah. If this person hits my car, I'm literally sitting in my car, buddy. It's always odd when people want to parallel park, but they don't actually parallel park. Normal. This person came to try to parallel park in front of me, and they drove in forward. And now this is like the fifth. They're gonna get it this time. It's like they just keep inching closer and inching closer at each little reverse. Okay, it looks like they got it. Oh, six or so times. 6-7 times. I don't know. I shouldn't judge. I'm not that good at parallel parking, but I feel like sometimes people make it harder on themselves. So yeah, I don't really know. Yeah. That's probably what I have to say. Like, it's I'm kind of glad about things. Yeah, I don't know if I really have any more to say, so I guess that's about all. So with that, I know I said thanks for listening before, because I was ending the episode then, but now I'm actually ending the episode. So with that, thanks for listening.